Don't give it up, Luke.
Are you a character that fades into the background? Are you sick of being cannon fodder? Do you think you deserve more character development? Well, all that could be achieved by calling 1-800-GIVE-'em-a-sword. Yeah, that's right. That thing that you're missing is a sword. You can be as evil as Zabuza or as honorable as Kuwabara. Get a sword and watch your popularity skyrocket. Or you could just sit there and be a lame-ass character, complaining about how you don't get enough screen time or how you died too early. You don't need a backstory. You don't need a love interest. You just need a sword. So get one today and join the ranks of the coolest of the cool. So dial 1-800-GIVE-'em-a-sword now. You're past due popularity. When I was a kid, there was a lesson waiting for me behind a very old dresser in my bedroom. One day we decided to move that dresser, and what I found behind it would change my perception forever. What I found behind that static, beaten up dresser was an old SNES game called First Samurai. Yep, this is how we got new games in the 90s. We found old forgotten ones and played them like they were new. I saw the front of this game and I was enticed. Why? Because samurais are cool. Why? Because they have swords. And anyone that has played First Samurai knows that this game does an excellent job of reinforcing this notion. You go around swinging a sword, killing all types of creatures, which is quite satisfying. You know, it's just your basic platformer. Nothing special at all. You see this? This is your sword or force bar. Do not let this bitch go down. When the samurai gets his sword, he says, but when the sword bar depletes, you lose your sword. Oh no, my sword! And the game becomes boring as hell. The very reason you play the game leaves with the sword. You're still alive and you can refill your sword meter by punching and kicking enemies. Once it's full again, your sword comes back. My sword! I remember being so pissed when I lost the sword. The game would have been garbage if it was a guy walking around punching and kicking things. The developers knew this, which is why the sword bar was also genius in a way. It kept you motivated to keep playing just so you could get that sweet piece of Japanese steel back. My sword! Oh, how important the sword is, and he who has it is mighty and cool. A lesson I learned through a virtual dopamine loop and a very strict law of the universe. And a quick Google search states that there are 12 universal laws. Well, hear ye, hear ye. This video decrees the 13th and the most important. Give him a sword. Think about your favorite character, then your second, then your third. One of the motherfuckers has a sword, or multiple swords.
2 Kodachis.
A sword just makes a character cool. Doesn't matter the context. Video games, anime, manga, American cartoons, live action, Animal Kingdom, real life. This is not a rule, it is a fucking standard. Okay, now think about a lame ass character. Then think about that character with the sword. Yeah, completely different. You know who needed a sword? Naruto fans, anyone? Shino. Here, let me fix this character. There. I mean, just imagine Shino with a sword. His design is already cool. You turn on Naruto, you're like, I wonder what that character does. Then your friend is like, he uses bugs. It could have even been a bug sword. I don't know, get creative, Kishimoto. How much cooler would this character be? Well, we would never know, because he doesn't have a sword, so he's lame and swordless. Give him a sword. If you're designing a character and you think he's missing something, it's probably a sword. You're welcome. Let's just look at some of the most popular characters in anime. Oh, who is this guy? It's Sasuke. But he's missing something. Don't get me wrong, he was a cool character. He had those stunning eyes. His style was fire. Then we got what we were looking for in Shippuden. And you know what that was? A sword. Now don't tell me you didn't think, oh shit, Sasuke has a sword now. What the hell is he gonna do with that thing? Cause I'll call you a liar. Chest out with a sword, you mean he doesn't give a and he uses it to conduct electricity. This change made Sasuke ×2 on the cool meter. Naruto honorable mention Killer Bee, who's got 7 swords. Yes, overkill is a good thing. So I know you know this guy. This is Future Trunks, who yes is from the future, which makes him cool, but also has a fucking sword.
I'm thinking perhaps the only reason you defeated Frieza was because you had this sword in hand. That sound about right?
Yes.
Ask yourself this question. Was GT Trunks cool? Nope, lame. How about Kid Trunks? Whack. Baby Trunks? A little. What's the common denominator here? These motherfuckers have no sword. Case closed. Oh, and who gave Trunks his sword in the movie? Oh yeah, that's right, Tapion, another cool character. And who gave Tapion that sword? God. Go to sleep now. Okay, wake back up. We got another character here, and it's my personal favorite, Hiei. There's nothing better than a character with a sword that actually uses it to brutalize his opponents multiple times. I don't think anyone's stupid enough to say that the Darkness Flame was not cool, but where did this character start? With a sword. And one that he stole at that.
You didn't get back the sword, a mistake that will prove fatal.
And don't even get me started on how he used the broken sword to channel the Darkness Flame. Peak coolness on the cool meter. Oh yeah, and who else had a sword on this show? Oh yeah, Blake Griffin. And this guy here is Zoro. Now I haven't seen all of One Piece, but this mofo is without a doubt cool. Not one, not two, but 3 swords here. That makes him ×3 on the cool meter. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. Always thought it was super badass how he puts one sword in his mouth and has all these cool poses and stances. Swag on point with this character. I mean, he just looks like a badass. And then we have missed opportunities. Gohan had a sword twice. The second time was in the Buu Saga. I know you're not going to tell me you weren't excited to see Gohan use the Z sword. Then Toriyama drops the ball with Gohan once again. Damn shame.
Who's that Pokemon?
Yep, it's Yamcha with a sword, all the way back in Dragon Ball. A prime example of what happens when you castrate a character. Could have used a sword against those Cybermen, or androids, or Bulma. Give him a sword and let him keep it. American cartoons. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Leonardo. He's got 2 swords and he's the leader.
What did I tell you? Double katana? Pretty sweet, huh?
What, you're telling me you like the nerd with the stick, the funny guy with useless weapons, the serious dude with the little dick daggers? Go away. Okay, you can come back now. We're talking about anime. Let's talk about the shows where everyone has a sword. Why do you think Bleach is so popular? All the characters with no swords are not important. Sorry, Chad, but we know this to be a fact. This show has big swords, short swords, weird shaped swords, anti-Semitic swords, boner swords, kitchen knife swords, weird sword abilities, weapons of mass destruction swords, sad sentimental moments with beings inside a sword, swords that turn into giant demon babies and have long ass names. Then we also have Claymore, Samurai Shampoo, Afro Samurai. Demon Slayer is one of the most popular animes of all time. And what do all the good guys use? Swords that look really nice, by the way. Give him a sword. You know who was the ultimate badass? Hajime Saito. Anyone who has seen Rurouni Kenshin knows this is fact. In a show where every relevant character has a sword, this mofo dominated his competition and reigned as the ultimate alpha dog swordsman. Think back to First Samurai. When he loses his sword, it's boring. When Saito loses his sword, he beats a motherfucker's ass.
But your sword is broken, and the way I figure it, our battle is just starting, so let's go!
This man has hands, technique, judo throws. You lose your sword, you improvise and take out the belt like your mama did when it was past your bedtime. Before Zenitsu was out here spamming the same move, he had Saito using Gatotsu over and over again.
Now I'll attack with the true Gatotsu. No more holding back.
If there is a Hall of Fame for swordsmen, this man is a first ballot, hands down. But I don't think there is. And this isn't some in-depth analysis video. I can't really tell you why a sword is cool. Can you tell me why? No, it's just cool to have a sword. Japanese sword, Tori Hanzo sword, spirit sword, reverse blade sword, fire sword, grass sword, ice sword, long sword, fat sword, sword in the stone, sword that blood flows through that kills Chiropterans, sword that turns people into demons, sword out of line, subpar anime at best, Halo sword, cheap ass swords of revealing light. Okay, maybe not all swords are cool. I'm sure as hell not going to go into the history of the sword, cause why would I do that when I could just look at Game of Thrones? It's more popular than real history anyways. What do all the cool characters in this show have? Swords. And the real cool ones have Valyrian steel swords.
This is Valyrian steel.
Jon Snow turns down authority.
I don't want it.
But he didn't turn down a sword. I don't think he knew that the two are one and the same. Just about everybody watches superhero movies now. You remember when Thanos showed up with the sword in the last Avengers movie? Double-edged, big-ass sword. You're telling me you weren't waiting for him to impale someone with that? Too bad that didn't happen, but he was cooler for the change. Oh yeah, and 2 more things. Sword, sword. Another word sword has been said 100 times in this video. That's a nice round number. I'm going to stop now. I think you get the point. You get it? Point? Because swords are sharp. I ruined the video.